understand your situation. You're attempting to return, but there is allegedly some form of ban in place upon your travel to that area. You have let me know you are aware of the fact that there is political turmoil, including in the executives and legislatures of the particular area, and that this political wrangling is also associated with your problems, correct? As I understand it, this is what you encountered before you attempted to travel. You're coming from a country where there was an attempt to try to extort you into agreeing to cooperate with organized crime elements that had infiltrated the government and were attempting to do illegal things. And in your effort to travel to another country that you have some ancestry connected to, they likewise attempted to compel you to cooperate with organized criminal activity that was infiltrating the government and attempting to accomplish illegal aims. In the meantime, you've been banned. I see. So they put some restriction on your movement because, as you understand it, there is organized crime elements that have infiltrated the government and they are attempting to compel you to cooperate with them. I see. And your example of understanding this reality is that there were actually trials and convictions in the country from whence you're coming regarding those very matters associated with organized crime elements that had infiltrated governments and had been convicted and had their assets seized, and in the course of those assets being seized, they ended up then becoming available to the organized crime elements that have infiltrated the government in the country you're leaving in cooperation with organized crime elements involved with the government in the country you're trying to travel to and through. I see. I have to say that you've presented some very compelling evidence. I do not know how to discourage you from that analysis and provide you with some alternative. You believe it is the truth, and I have not come up with something I could present as an alternative in order to explain the facts as you presented them, and honestly, I do not have any means by which to refute the substantiation of them as fact based upon the sources you've cited and the manner in which you've analyzed it. But there are very practical matters that need to be attended to in the meantime. Now, there are various timelines at work, and one of the things that we have been experiencing is this saturation and a desire to use social media to reach out to people. It has both benefits, but it also has detractors and can also impede certain kinds of progress. I would recommend that you take some time off from social media. Allow what you've already acquired to be reorganized and follow through on practical goals. If you are concerned about more manipulation of your efforts to engage the legal system, then I can also identify for you that I was witness to your acknowledgement that you understand now that perhaps one of the qualms associated with allegations about your performance before had to do with the very vital, necessary work you were doing. As you've recounted, you were a administrator in a non-profit organization that provided support in the areas of capital defense in a state that at the time was involved with executions of people that had been convicted of capital offenses and executed more people in the year you were attempting this form of work than any year in history. Allegations were that you had not performed adequate bookkeeping in order to assure that all the financial matters were attended to. Your refutation is that you told them you needed certain paperwork and they refused to provide you with that paperwork. Now you understand that in some characterizations, the clerk involved with judicial processes actually is responsible for the surety associated with the case. So even though you literally are not the clerk of the court, your administrative position could potentially be used and abused. And you've identified in some manner, way, shape, or form that that is where the crucial matters associated with this current form of extortion originated. And they attempted to do it again a few years later in another city under other auspices or they are trying to also hold you to some sort of culpability as a co-executive, as opposed to a mere clerk. This is a complicated matter, but I am certain that before the timeline expires, you will have come to some sort of suitable action plan for moving forward on addressing these grievances.